Hello guys, welcome at New Story. In the Middle Ages, winters were long, bitterly cold, and survival was never guaranteed. Without modern heating, refrigeration, or supermarkets, ordinary people had to rely on creativity, tradition, and sheer endurance to make it through the dark months. Tonight, let's step back in time and uncover what medieval people really ate during the winter, and some of their surprising secrets. Bread was the backbone of the medieval diet. In the winter, when fresh produce was scarce, people relied heavily on coarse loaves made from rye, barley, or oats. For peasants, bread was often dark, dense, and filled with whatever grains were available. Nobles, however, enjoyed fine white bread made from wheat, a luxury few could afford. Meat was a luxury for most peasants, but during the winter, preserved meats became essential. Pork was especially common, salted and hung to last through the cold months. Sausages, smoked hams, and salted fish were staples that could feed entire families when hunting was impossible. Fresh vegetables were rare in winter, but clever storage methods kept some food available. Root vegetables like turnips, onions, and cabbages were stored in cellars or buried in straw. Pickled vegetables, sour cabbage, carrots and vinegar, and even fermented beets and gave peasants vital vitamins. Water was often unsafe to drink, so people turned to ale, mead, and weak beer even for children. Fermented beverages were not only safer, but also provided calories. Nobles enjoyed spiced wines, mulled with honey and herbs, while peasants sipped simple, watered-down ale throughout the day. Cheese, butter, and milk were crucial in winter diets. Hard cheeses lasted the longest and were a favorite among travelers and soldiers. Butter was rarer in some regions, often reserved for the wealthy. In monasteries, monks crafted cheeses that are still eaten today. For many, winter meant endless bowls of porridge. Oats, barley, and millet were boiled into thick gruel, sometimes flavored with herbs or a bit of honey if one was lucky. It was plain, but it filled empty stomachs during the long, cold nights. Fresh fruit was rare, but dried apples, pears, and plums were stored carefully. Honey was the main sweetener, prized and precious, while imported sugar was only for the elite. Nobles indulged in candied fruits, while peasants might enjoy baked apples on special occasions. For peasants, surviving winter was about sharing what little they had. Communities came together for feasts during Christmas or New Year, eating from their stored supplies. Nobles hosted great banquets filled with exotic foods, but for most people, survival depended on simplicity, faith, and endurance. So when we imagine medieval winters, we often think of hunger and hardship. And while that was often true, it was also a time of resilience, community, and simple traditions that kept people alive. Every bowl of porridge, every loaf of bread, every shared mug of ale. These were more than food. They were survival.